alcohol, drugs, and traffic safety. Alcohol on the road can lead up to deadly consequences. Although drugs and alcohol affect people differently, the results are always dangerous. Every day, almost 30 people in the United States die in drunk driving crashes. That's one person every 50 minutes. These deaths have fallen by a third in the last decade. However, drunk driving crashes claim more than 10,000 lives per year, and in 2010, the most recent year for which cost data is available, these deaths and damages contributed to a cost of $44 billion that year. Drinking and driving is an irresponsible act which can cause serious injury or death. While drinking alcohol is itself not necessarily a problem, drinking and driving most certainly are. If you do choose to drink and drive, you can face a whole range of consequences and problems. What is a DWI in Texas? Texas law makes it illegal to operate a motor vehicle in a public place while intoxicated. To be convicted of a DWI, a prosecutor only needs to convince a jury you are guilty of one of the following. You lacked the normal use of mental or physical faculties due to the introduction of alcohol, a controlled substance, a drug, a dangerous drug, a combination of two or more substances, or any other substance in the body, or you had a breath alcohol concentration that exceeds the legal limit of 0.08%. You can also be convicted of DWI with a BAC below the legal limit or without giving a breath sample at all. If the prosecutor can make the case that your BAC was at 0.08 or above, or that a substance that you consumed prevented you from driving safely, you may be convicted of a DWI. Criminal punishment, the law. Refusal to give a blood or breath specimen for analysis makes the driver subject to a 180-day driver's license suspension. A police officer can now obtain a blood or breath alcohol sample from a driver involved in an alcohol-related crash if an individual has died or will die, or if an individual other than the person has serious bodily injury. It is now a state jail felony to operate a motor vehicle in a public place while intoxicated with a passenger younger than 15 years of age. It is illegal for a minor to drive while having any detectable amount of alcohol in the minor's system. An adult 21 years of age or older is now liable for damages proximately caused by the intoxication of a minor under the age of 18 on the premises owned or leased by the adult. Interlock devices will now be installed for those convicted of a DWI whose specimen of the person's blood, breath, or urine shows a BAC of 0.15 or more. If there is an injury or death, the officers are now required to take blood and breath specimens. Open container law. It is now a Class C misdemeanor for there to be an open alcoholic beverage in the passenger area of a vehicle if it is on or near a public road. The exceptions are as follows: buses, taxicabs, and limousines, the living quarters of a motorhome, a self-contained camper trailer or motorized house trailer, in a locked trunk, glove box, or console, beyond the last seat in a sports utility vehicle or SUV. Repeat offense of a DWI. If a person gets 2 or more DWIs within 5 years of the most recent offense, the following will happen. A breath analysis machine will be installed on all vehicles used by that person. If that machine registers any amount of alcohol in his or her system, the car will not start. They will have to spend a minimum of 5 years in jail. They may have to take an alcohol or drug rehabilitation course. It also becomes illegal for the same person to use any vehicle that is not equipped with such a device. Their driver's license will be suspended for 1 year minimum. No jury can recommend this not happen. They will have to spend a minimum of 5 days in jail. Physiological process. Alcohol, beer, champagne, whiskey, wine, enters the body and is absorbed in the bloodstream and other body parts very quickly. It can seriously affect reaction time and judgment, both of which are very important in safe driving. The liver is the single most important organ in processing alcohol out of the body. It takes about 1 hour for the liver to process out 1 beer or other alcoholic beverages. The physiological effects of alcohol are poor judgment and a feeling of invincibility. Drunk drivers take more chances while passing, speed more often, and many ignore signs and signals. A false sense of alertness, overexcitability, and dizziness can also be caused by alcohol consumption. Your reaction time can make the difference between life and death. If your reaction time is off by even 1 second, at 50 miles per hour, you would have traveled 75 feet. Effects of alcohol. Alcohol, beer, champagne, whiskey, wine, is quickly absorbed into the bloodstream through the lining of the stomach and carried throughout the body until it quickly gets to the brain and begins to affect the brain function. This means judgment is impaired. Inhibitions go first. A false sense of confidence is developed in many people. The field of vision is reduced. Hearing is less acute. Concentration becomes difficult. Speech and balance are affected. Functions such as breathing, speech, thought, memory, and movement can be impaired by consuming alcohol. Mental effects may include mood changes, decreased inhibitions, relaxation, impaired judgment, slowed reaction times, difficulty remembering, confusion, and loss of consciousness. Here are 5 ways alcohol and drugs can impair your driving. Slow reaction time. When alcohol and drugs that cause drowsiness, even legal drugs, are in your system, your response time will slow down, which increases the likelihood of a crash. Lack of concentration. Heavy drinking affects your motor skills such as eye, hand, and foot coordination. Without critical coordination skills, you are unable to avoid a crash. Reduce concentration. Alcohol and some drugs will reduce your concentration, and you may not be able to do simple things properly such as stay in your lane, maintain your speed, and react to other cars or traffic signals. Decrease vision. Excessive alcohol will negatively impact your vision, and some drugs will even cause hallucinations. After drinking, you will notice your vision is blurred or you're unable to control your eye movement. Impaired vision can affect how you judge the distance between your car and other vehicles on the road. Your peripheral vision may also be affected. Inhibit judgment. Without proper judgment, you cannot make proper decisions on the road. All you need is one bad decision to get into a crash.
When I drink, I'm a bad drinker. When I drink the next day, I got to do 2 things. I try and locate my car, and I got to bring back the car I took. I'm a bad. You know the trouble with me? I appeal to everyone who can do me absolutely no good. With me, nothing comes easy. I met the Surgeon General. He offered me a cigarette.
Prescription, non-prescription, and illegal drugs cause synergistic effects. Millions of people take drugs every day and don't realize these drugs can affect their driving. Alcohol, tranquilizers, marijuana, or any other mind-altering drug can affect the mental and physical skills needed to drive. Even some over-the-counter medicines can affect your driving. Some prescription drugs, especially if mixed with alcohol, will double the effects of the alcohol. Different people's driving skills can be affected differently by the same drug. The driver's weight and emotional state and amount of the drug and when it was taken all influence the driver's ability to size up an emergency situation or to judge speed and distance. Alcohol consumption is the most important factor to consider when attempting sobering up a person who has drunk too much is time. The liver works slowly and nothing can be eaten or done to speed up alcohol elimination. Exercise, cold showers, special foods, coffee, tea, or orange juice cannot speed up the elimination of alcohol in the bloodstream. People who claim they have a tolerance of alcohol or who say they can hold their liquor may not look and act drunk, but the alcohol is still in their bloodstream and will affect reaction time, judgment, and awareness. Clear speech and maintaining balance can be learned with practice and may disguise other symptoms of drunkenness. Remember, buzz driving is drunk driving. Psychological effects of alcohol. There are many theories on whether treatment will work or not. Alcoholics Anonymous believes that a true alcoholic cannot control his or her drinking, unlike those who choose to get drunk, an inability that exists before the first drink is taken. The condition is irreversible and progressive and requires complete and utter abstinence. Then there are those who believe that it is a disease and can be treated, but abstinence is required. Then there are those who feel drinking is a universally social activity. This is kind of like the diets that are prevalent at any given time. Of course, drinking can be a problem and it must be recognized and dealt with. Without recognizing the problem, there is no cure. As of September 1st, 2023, there is a new law on the books that will require DWI, DUI offenders to pay child support to any children or child that loses their parent or guardian in an alcohol-related crash in Texas. What this means is if you are responsible for anyone losing their caregiver, you will be financially responsible for that minor. This new law will require the guilty party to make child support payments to the victim or victims until they finish high school or turn 18, whichever comes first. If they haven't finished high school by 19, then the payments would end then. If the responsible party for the DWI, DUI fatality is serving time, they will essentially be on a deferred payment plan. Payments will continue until financial responsibility has been made whole.